Hey YouTube, it's EchoBear, and today I want to review an app for you guys. It's called HopSwap. Now before I get into talking about this app and why I like it and all that other fun stuff, let's get through some of the serious stuff. So HopSwap is made by Nitro, and the first version that I can find of it being released was on November 10th, 2016. And as far as genre goes, can kind of be classified as an arcade adventure game. So HopSwap is definitely a game that I've seen with similar schemes where you have one half of your playing field being one thing and then you can swap over to the other half, which is usually an inverse of whatever you're saying, and play in that field. And it works super well for what it is. It's not anything new by any means, but the way it does bring some new stuff to the table. Unlike a bunch of these that I have seen before, usually you're just kind of on autopilot and you can only control when you move to the upper plane or the lower plane, or just jump in general. That's usually the only input you can get with these games. But Nitro went ahead and added in the added bonus of having control for left and right, just so you don't have to accept defeat if you get headed towards spikes that you wouldn't otherwise be able to avoid, or just be able to turn around faster and make progression easier as you're going along. So that it definitely benefits from. But where that kind of falls short in the long run is you're still on that autopilot, and it just becomes fighting against that in some cases, and especially once the levels get harder and more complex, you find yourself fighting against that a lot more often. So control-wise, honestly, I'm kind of torn, because on one hand you get the bonus of having more control, but you have the problem of that control working against you just because it doesn't work with the whole autopilot thing. In my opinion, honestly, I wish they would have done one or the other. Just given full control over everything so that you can adventure through freely, be able to jump, be able to move left and right, and be able to swap between the planes freely. Or would have just gone with the stereotypical way that these games usually work, where it's on autopilot 100% of the time and you just bounce between the walls. Having the combination is inventive and something that I haven't seen before, which I appreciate. But when it kind of takes away from your control within the game and makes the game a little frustrating, makes it a little harder than I honestly would have appreciated. But that's really my only complaint in this game. Otherwise, it's a really fantastic game. The visuals are something that I genuinely love, because usually when you're working with these kind of minimalistic type of plane games, it's not plane, but planes of existence type of games. Usually they only operate in a black and white color scheme, which has been done time and time again. But Nitro took it in a different direction and used purple and yellow, which at the same time is vibrant, contrasting, and makes it for just a very, very interesting palette to be able to look at and adventure through in this type of world. Just the whole thing is aesthetically pleasing, and it's Nitro, so all of the art has a lot of extra detail and a lot of polish everywhere that just makes everything that you're looking at really, really interesting and just pleasing to look at in general. That, and combined with the music is probably my favorite part of this app. Hands down, my favorite. When you're on one side of the whole map situation, it's a very upbeat and kind of organic feeling type of music, because it's all bright and sunny because you're on the yellow side of it. Once you flip around, it becomes much more mechanical and technical and heavier, since you're on the lower side and thus the darker side of the whole level scheme, which makes just for that much of a more intense feeling and a much more heavier feeling, not bad heavy, but just a much more grounded feeling of something has changed, once you flip from one side to the other. And another part of it is that it flows seamlessly. You could just sit there and spam back and forth and the music would just flow along perfectly. No matter what you do, it just fits with the rhythm, and it feels just different changes within a song, even though it's the same thing repeating over and over. the fact that things are happening differently within the level makes it feel like it's a song that's progressing and changing, and you're just listening to an ongoing song that's has different parts within it. And as you progress through this game, it has like a very nice checkpoint system. The way you get these checkpoints is as you go through the levels, you have to make sure that you're collecting gems as you're going. They can be a little more difficult to get and take a little bit more time, but in the end it's worth it, because once you do get to the checkpoints, you can either choose to continue on if you think you can make it through the next like section of obstacles without dying and getting sent all the way back, or you can make a choice to spend some of the gems that you have picked up or watch a video. So it's very flexible with whatever you want to do. You can either just plow through, accept your fate, and get sent all the way back to the very beginning if you mess up. If you want a very difficult experience, you can use videos to just get there as you go and not have to worry about exploring through the levels deeper and having to worry about collecting things as you're going. Or you can go kind of a completionist route and try to get everything you can as you go, and it will be harder and it'll take more time, but it makes it easier and maybe less annoying that you don't have to watch ads as you're going through the game. So it kind of gives like 3 different playstyle options. You can either do it as kind of like a hardcore run, you can do it very simply and very fun and just have to deal with ads, or you can just take your time with it and explore and collect whatever you need to. This game is also fun just because it has like a puzzle element within it, because it has that regular like adventure kind of thing and the mechanic of being able to split between one side and another side. But there's also the added thing that you have to use that to solve puzzles as you're getting through, because there's like the added momentum, because if you jump off of one, flip through the other, the momentum carries you into the jump onto the other side. So it creates the opportunity for a lot of really interesting puzzles and like a lot of creative gameplay. That, and as you continue through, you're not just trying to get through levels just on a basic like level, trying to get through them. I don't know what I'm saying. You're not just trying to get through them and solve the puzzles, but they also throw in enemies that you have to jump on Mario style, which they're easy enough to get by, but they do add that extra level of creativity, and they also change like visually as you swap from one side to the other. Also, one little extra touch of polish that this app has is the fact that in the beginning you have an entire cutscene, which if you watch in the background and you're familiar with Nitrome's other apps, you can see references to their other game characters, which is a fun little nod. And also just, you have an animated cutscene in an app. Like, how often does that happen? It's a tiny little piece of polish, but I genuinely appreciate it. So, control issues aside, this is a really, really wonderful game. It's super well polished, it's wonderful, it's awesome for quick gameplay if you just need to pick something up and play it for a couple minutes and then put it back down, or if you want something that'll last you for the next couple months of gameplay. It's whatever you want to make out of it, and it's just genuinely a lot of fun. So for everything this game has, and its one little drawback, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's definitely a fantastic game. It's not perfect by any means, but it's pretty dang near close. So honestly, I recommend that you guys go check it out. I'm going to leave a link in the description for you guys to go download it yourselves. Otherwise, you can go look it up on your App Store or Google Play Store under HopSwap. It should be really easy to find. I usually try to leave any and all links related to apps that I can in the description, so it's easier for you guys. But yeah, I definitely think you should check it out. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this review. Make sure to stay to the very end of this video to see some of the other stuff that I've done. Since this is a Nitrome video, I'll probably link some of the other Nitrome apps that I reviewed so you guys can check those out too. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!